Hello, this is DL with Awareness of Thinking. Welcome to episode number 14. So today I'm going to be talking about conditions of mind control. Before we get to that, I'd like to thank you for liking this channel, subscribing, hitting the notification bell so you know when I drop a new video. This could be an Awareness of Thinking video or meditation or yoga practice. And also do leave your comments. I'm really enjoying hearing from you. Okay, so I read a stirring article the other day on the Guardian, which is an online publication I follow, which is linked in the show notes, that went through Margaret Singer's 6 Conditions of Mind Control from her 1995 book, Cults in Our Midst, which I haven't read, but I thought the material that author C.J. Hopkins extrapolated from Singer's work would make a great episode to Awareness of Thinking. So here we are. And I will put the link both to the article and to Singer's book in the show notes. And as usual, rather than applying this to present-day situations as I see it, I'll leave it to you to make your own connections, though I might draw some lines that you can follow. I will, however, tie everything back into Awareness of Thinking. So I want to start with a quote by Caitlin Johnstone, who I've quoted before and linked to her articles. I really love her voice. She has a real clarity that I think is needed in this day and age. And she says, dysfunction and awareness cannot coexist. So that's really just a simple truism. If we are aware of our dysfunction, then that dysfunction is now happening within that awareness. And therefore, it is not the same dysfunction that it was. When it's an unconscious dysfunction, we have no idea, no hope. As soon as we become aware of it and can see it, that creates enough separation from the dysfunction. So, it's just a start. So let's talk about these 6 conditions of mind control now. The first, keep the person unaware of what is going on and how she or he or they is being changed a step at a time. Potential new members are led step by step through a behavioral change program without being aware of the final agenda or full content of the group. Now, as I opened with the quote, and as I have said over and over again, awareness is key. What holds your awareness, what you fixate around, blinds you to what is actually happening. We fall into habit quite easily, which in the above case of the behavioral one step at a time modification, they're geared towards cult compliance. We judge our present experience by past experience instead of simply being present and open to what is. We can only see clearly when our perspective is broad enough to see all, or at least most, of the true picture. We have to know our own intentions and agendas to be able to see those of others clearly. Otherwise, we'll find ourselves asking, and please pardon my French here, how the fuck did I get here? No awareness means no choice. Now, it only takes a very minute dose of awareness to be able to break a perceptual bubble wide open, which is why cults work tirelessly to keep their followers in the dark. But that one little drop is enough to start tearing down the walls and free you from your own delusions. Number 2, control the person's social and or physical environment. Especially control the person's time. Okay, social media does this for us. We can surround ourselves with our safe little bubbles of like minds, and we can lose hours of our lives scrolling through memes, photos, stories, and of course the occasional ad thrown in, or whatever, news story they want you to be aware of. What controls our life, aka Facebook, and our physical environment and movements, I'll let you make your own connections there, controls our life. It isn't coincidence though, it's by strategic design. So look around, see what in your life is controlling your social life, your physical environment, your time, and ask yourself, why? When I was talking to one of my sisters the other day about this, we got onto a conversation about times that we've worked in the corporate environment. And my sister was drawing some connections here, which I thought were quite valid. A corporate environment is one that has certain expectations of their employees, including forced overtime or being available to underlings and overlings 24/7. It's this control of your social life, this control of the physical environment, what you wear, and of course the person's time. You are expected to give up vacations and holidays and all sorts of things for the sake of the organization. It's so cult-like. Number 3, systematically create a sense of powerlessness in the person. Now, powerless enters our life in many ways. We are taught to doubt our own intuition and feelings from a very young age, and we judge ourselves for our shadows, or how other people judge us for our shadows is what we come to internalize. And so we abdicate our authority to something external, be it a religion, a boss, a bank, a government, any person or object or ideology. And that's one aspect of powerlessness. The other aspect of it, and maybe the more dangerous aspect of it, is if we feel powerless, then we tend to take steps. Well, there are those that take steps to overcome that sense of powerlessness in ways that are really soul-destroying. In other words, we want that power. We love that idea of having some power, some control, so much so that we're happy to exert it over others in very unnatural ways, in service to some authority. And we believe, if we have that kind of perspective about powerlessness, and we think, okay, then I'm going to do whatever I can to feel like I have power, then more and more power will never satisfy. And this is what we see at the very top. It can never be enough. Systems or the power hungry are going to seek out those who either already have a sense of powerlessness, an easy victim, or choose someone who will be easily manipulated into abdicating power. And this happens when we don't feel safe, when we don't have, our basic human needs met. Cults and cult-like systems want to rob you of any selfhood until you can't remember who you are, creating such a void in you that you'll accept whatever they offer you to fill it. We have to know who we are and know our worth outside of material possession and outside of external validation to avoid the trap. Number 4, manipulate a system of rewards, punishments, and experiences in such a way as to inhibit behavior that reflects the person's former social identity. In other words, make them wrong. Society is built upon such systems of reward and punishment, meant to help us survive. But how many of the rules that we internalized from a very young age make sense at a certain point? For example, you might live alone in a town with one traffic light. And if you don't comply and wait for it to turn green, even when there's no one even existing in the realm, you might find yourself getting mailed a ticket because the camera caught you. This is a system that we take in and then incorporate into our internal lives. We treat ourselves to a dessert, but only if we fast all day. It's this idea that I have to earn everything that comes to me. Sometimes we get things by grace. Leave some room and space for that. This reward and punishment paradigm creates a good and bad dichotomy that's unnatural when compared to simple cause and effect. We're always trying to change who we are, compete to prove, become better, improved, avoid punishment. There's nothing inherently wrong with wanting to be a better person unless you believe you're not good enough to begin with. Constant self-improvement becomes a violence against ourselves, and this makes it all the easier to act violently towards others. Number 5. Manipulate that system of rewards, punishments, and expectations in order to promote the group's ideology or belief system and group-approved behaviors. Good behavior, demonstrating an understanding and acceptance of groups' beliefs, and compliance are rewarded, while questioning, expressing doubts, or criticizing are met with disapproval, redress, and possible rejection. If one expresses a question, they are made to feel that there's something inherently wrong with them to be questioning. So this starts at a very young age. School is not much more than a system of rewards and punishments that promote compliance and socialization. In adulthood, we're still constantly being brainwashed by language, virtue signaling, headline manipulation, and propaganda. And needless to say, questioning authority is something that is getting more and more difficult to do. Those who attempt it are often defamed or destroyed, imprisoned, or even worse. And why wouldn't we do anything we can to avoid such treatment? We want to survive. Many would agree that we're in a dark age, not unlike the Inquisition, witch trials, or World War II. But these are natural cycles of evolution and sadly appear necessary to usher in the innovations and periods of enlightenment that will inevitably follow. I suppose that's the good news for those who will be around to see it. Number 6, put forth a closed system of logic and an authoritarian structure that permits no feedback and refuses to be modified except by leadership approval or executive order. The group has a top-down pyramid structure. The leaders must have verbal ways of never losing. Mainstream media, controlled by corporate and military interests, which infiltrate all aspects of daily life, controls the narrative, ensuring the masses remain entrenched in the stories they want them to believe, fear, and live by. They can fund any narrative they want, really. Those that break free, independent journalists who question and often discover deceits, are vilified, smeared, and censored, so as to mitigate the exposure of uncomfortable truths and crimes. To see through it, ask yourself, who benefits? Who fears? Who decides? Who has the power? And I'd like to take this opportunity to remind you that you have the power. Until you willingly give it away, or someone tells you that you're powerless and you believe it, you have the power. You don't have the power to change others. You have the power to change yourself and to watch the world around you change as you do. Thanks for listening today. Please share this message with someone you know needs to hear it and who's willing to hear it. Good luck. And for more information about what I offer in terms of helping you build and cultivate your own awareness, please visit my website at dlcsgo.com. Bye for now.